Hello, loves. So I recently got the request to talk about tranexamic acid. I've kind of heard about this, but I didn't know enough. Yeah, someone's basically going to go on the oral form of tranexamic acid, and she's getting it from the prescription muesli, which I've used muesli to get my hydroquinone. And it's great, like if you don't want to actually see a doctor. I would say it could be like a little cheaper. Usually it's a little more money up front because you're seeing the doctor, so it maybe like $80 to $90. But after that, it's like usually to get your prescription after they see you. And that was like as in like they're gonna see you over the internet. Um, After you do that, basically, I feel like my prescription was like under $60, and you just get it maybe every month, every other month, and I don't know. It's just like a cool thing. So she asked me to look into this, and honestly, I was doing like deep dives at like 5 a.m. this morning, and just wow, there's a lot of good information about this. So tranexamic acid, we've probably all heard about the topical. The topical is basically a popular acid for discoloration, melasma, and hyperpigmentation. Which I want to say mostly people have been using it for melasma. Usually you get melasma if you are pregnant, if you're maybe started birth control and the estrogen or progesterone kind of messes with your hormones. And sometimes you can just get it from too much UV exposure. I mean, melasma kind of like you'll get like the spots, and it can be really hard just to make it go away, like just really difficult. And it's funny because not all hyperpigmentation is melasma, but all melasma is hyperpigmentation. So when it comes to treating it, usually tranexamic acid, I mean, it's pretty good with that, but also it works pretty well with just dark spots and stuff like that. It's mostly effective at 5% or more. There are some people who use all the way up to 10%, that being on the higher side. And it's funny because like it'll brighten your skin, but it doesn't just do that. It'll also like reduce your acne. If you have any redness, rosacea, it'll help with that too. I notice like if I'm doing chemical peels and I kind of overdo it, I'll have just like a redness that kind of stays in certain spots, usually like by my nose or under my eyes. So this is something that you could use. Now I will say I've never used tranexamic acid. This is just kind of like if you're looking at this for the first time, this is just what to know. And basically, it works by interrupting melanin activity, and kind of just like stops it from forming. And oh, also on top of that, it'll accelerate your skin barrier recovery. So for people who are worried about like wrinkles, fine lines, and basically it just works in boosting collagen. So kind of like how vitamin C will do that when we take it orally or topically, it'll kind of boost collagen, make your skin more elastic. And I'm assuming that because it helps with our skin barrier, basically it's increasing our cell turnover, but I didn't find like a definitive answer. That's just me assuming that's what it does. You guys will have to let me know if you've used tranexamic acid. Did you notice that sometimes it would like maybe make your skin flake a little bit, or just take off that first layer? So that is the topical. The topical, as far as I can see, has been used for just like several years. Now, getting into the oral, I had no idea that you could use this orally. Like I said, I've heard about it topically, never heard about it orally. But I feel like it's probably been used orally just as long as it has been topically, but for different reasons. So people, well, doctors, this is something that you have to get a prescription for, but doctors prescribe it to slow down heavy bleeding. Like, so for people who have really heavy periods, this has been used for a very long time to help with that. And also, it's used in the OR. So, like in operating rooms, they use it when they're worried about bleeding. And basically, it does this because it's like a blood clotting agent. So, it helps your blood clot. People who have like hemophilia, obviously, this would be something that perhaps they would use, but this apparently has been used just for several years. Doctors, trust it, and yeah, they're kind of been used in these short-term situations. Now, what we are finding is that there is a side effect of using oral tranexamic acid, and basically, it clears up your melasma. It not only that, like just melasma, hyperpigmentation, like any dark spots, like people, but mostly like I will say the reviews I've found or people talking about this mostly just had melasma. But yeah, apparently the longer they were on it, they noticed that it was clearing up their skin. I will say that people who are using this are using like 200 to 600 milligrams a day. Sometimes it'll be like 200 milligram doses, like 2 or 3 times a day. And I will say that as far as for seeing results, from what I could see, most people were seeing it just like in weeks. They were seeing results and just like clear skin. Obviously, like for the fullest results, it was like 6 to 8 weeks, but it seems that it starts working pretty quickly. Again, this is prescription based, and basically people are using it on a cycle. So 3 months or up to 3 months. They're not just staying on this long term. And I even noticed that some doctors, what they would do is they'd put someone on a cycle, and of course, once you stop it, the melasma returns. It'll return slowly, but it does return. And so it's basically kind of like glutathione in that it works as long as it's in your blood. And I don't know if you basically build up reserves of this, but basically, as long as it's in your blood, it'll continue working. The melasma does slowly come back after you're not using it anymore. But from what I've seen, if you do have to go back on it, you can like go on it for like a shorter amount of time to clear up your skin, basically. Again, I've never used this topically or orally, so I'm not sure, but there's tons of information on it. And yeah, definitely look into it. Like I said, I did this deep dive at like 5 a.m. I was just like so into this. Like, this sounds like an amazing, not only topical, but just oral prescription. Like, I was like, holy crap, sign me up. Um, oh, I will note this for anyone thinking about going on this. Most people who saw the best and quickest results were still using a topical. So, something either to help with like spots, if you're doing dark spots, or like a serum. But yeah, most people were using some type of topical. People who weren't are the ones who are seeing that, it took longer to start seeing results. But keep that in mind. Just off of what I've seen, ugh, gosh, guys, I was ready to sign up for this. Like, oh my gosh, just a pill, and you just take it. And some people are just taking one dose a day. I mean, it sounds amazing. If you're going through muesli, it's only $8, guys, for a 3 month supply. $8 or $8, gosh, sorry, $80, 80 US dollars for a 3 month supply. That's amazing. I don't know if that includes the online doctor's visit. Usually with the online doctor's visit, it'll add on $20, or that might include it. I don't know. But after seeing that, I was like totally sold, totally ready just to start it. But after doing a little more research, I have changed my mind. This is not something that I myself um, would be going on. And basically, I'm going to make a part two because this video is getting kind of long. But no, this definitely is good for some people, but there are some of the us who I could not recommend this for. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow just because like this is getting too long. But no, for some people this is going to be like a godsend. For others, I don't recommend.